Wait a second before you do anything else. Do not move your body. You don't need to change how you stand or breathe or do anything else to get ready. Just be aware that you are listening here. That is already part of the transmission. This message wasn't found by accident. You're here not because fate brought you here or because of a big event happening outside of you, but because something inside your field has already changed. When the signal inside changes, the outside world changes to match it. That rearrangement can look like a video showing up just at the right time. There are times when it looks like a quiet inner recognition that doesn't feel exciting. Your nervous system already knows what frequency is being sent if this message feels steady instead of exciting, grounded instead of mysterious, or calm instead of overwhelming. Don't try to figure out what this frequency means if your body already knows it. Let the people in your field talk. Write just one word in the comments. Recognized. This simple acknowledgement makes a coherence marker that can be seen in the perception grid. This shows that your system has already picked up the signal. A planetary transition is taking place. Not a symbol. It's not a metaphor. Building-wise, the rules governing how reality responds to consciousness are changing in real time because Earth's energetic architecture is recalibrating its baseline frequency. Old perception grids that are based on reaction, delay, and fragmentation are becoming less stable. These new coherence-based grids can only be used by people whose inner state allows them to last. The Arcturian harmonic field is very good at keeping an eye on these kinds of shifts in the planets. Not by getting involved emotionally or trying to change what happens, but by watching how coherent intelligence stays stable in environments that are always changing. When a civilization is interested or looking, they don't show up. When the planetary field crosses a certain point, consciousness starts to change faster than the systems that were made to hold it. That line has already been crossed. This change is what separates reaction from coherence. It sets integrated identity apart from fragmented identity. It sets conscious stabilization apart from unconscious repetition. Inside state is no longer neutral to the planetary field. It now responds faster, more accurately, and doesn't put up with contradictions as much. Feedback speeds up when the inner frequency becomes unstable. Access grows when inner coherence becomes stable. A lot of people feel this without being able to put it into words. Unease that is quiet. Not being able to live the old way because the new way has not fully shown itself yet. A gentle push to be more honest with yourself. It's very tiring to keep going through the same things that used to feel normal. This is not a mess. As the nervous system increases its capacity for coherence, there is transition pressure moving through it. The fifth dimensional state is not a place you can visit. It happens when the level of conflict within a group falls below a certain point. Much less resistance, not as much emotional noise, not as much inner negotiating. Thought, feeling, and action that are more in sync with each other. As soon as coherence reaches this level, the field responds right away instead of taking a long time. Reality starts to act more like an interface that can be changed than like a rigid structure. At this point, the Arcturian perception grid can start to record a person. Not in a feeling way. I don't mean spiritually in a dramatic way. Building-wise. Behavioral consistency, nervous system regulation, and signal stability over time can all be used to determine coherence. Who stays in line when no one is looking? Who keeps acting in an honest way when feedback from others stops? Who doesn't hold talks about things they already know to be true? Millions of people are crossing that line right now, which is why this transmission exists. not waking up to belief systems, but getting out of the cycle of repetition, leaving behind identities based on instincts for survival. Timelines that are ending are controlled by delay, contradiction, and unconscious reaction. The golden age doesn't just appear out of nowhere. Over time, it becomes stable as more people learn to hold on to coherence. Every nervous system that is well controlled lowers planetary noise. Every choice that makes sense makes the collective field stronger. You don't need to believe this message. It's here to back up what you already think. This might not feel new or exciting, but rather familiar and grounded. This is because your system has already crossed over into the new bandwidth. Stay in the present. The information that follows will explain why the Arcturian field is part of this transition, what role coherent people naturally play in it, and how to stay stable in the new timeline without using force, struggle, or illusion. Here is where the transmission starts. Chapter 1. Why the Arcturian field engages planetary transitions. Myths often make it seem like the Arcturian intelligence gets involved in civilizations, but this is not the case. There is no story of rescue, no help with feelings. There is no chain of command. Their job is to keep coherent systems stable while large-scale consciousness reorganization takes place. When the planetary field gets to a point where internal awareness starts to change faster than the social, biological, and perceptual structures that were built to support it, that's when they get involved. That stage has been reached by Earth. This doesn't mean the Earth is falling apart. It means that the planetary consciousness grid is growing too big for its current shape. When a field raises the frequency, three things happen at the same time. There is more internal conflict, because old patterns don't want to break down. Outdated loops can't keep up the energy, so repetition gets old and tiring. Incoherence causes friction right away, so alignment is no longer an option. Do not think this is spiritual chaos. This is called system recalibration. It is known to the Arcturian harmonic field how consciousness can move between dimensional bands without upsetting the conditions for life. Their job is not to save civilizations. They teach coherence mechanics so that societies can stay stable while they change. At this point, most civilizations fail, not because they aren't smart, but because they mix up stimulation and evolution, strength of emotion, movements of ideas, control systems outside the body. These don't make things stable. Instead of making experience stronger, the fifth-dimensional operating state makes contradictions weaker. It makes identity easier to understand instead of breaking it up. It cuts down on inner debate and speeds up clear movement. This is why a lot of people are mentally tired these days, sick of thinking too much, getting tired of defending themselves over the same emotional loops over and over again. Your nervous system is getting ready for a new way of working that needs less friction and more direct coherence. The most important thing that the Arcturian perception grid looks at is consistency when there is no sound. Not sets of beliefs, not habits, not excitement in the heart. Stability in behavior when outside feedback stops. Who keeps acting in line with their beliefs even when there is no evidence to support them? Who stays there when nothing exciting takes place? Who doesn't wait for proof anymore before moving? Signal stability, not belief, is what allows for detection. This explains why some relationships end without any fights. Reasons why some chances quietly go away. Why some paths lose energy instead of falling apart completely. You didn't lose anything. There was no more friction. Your coherence threshold told the system how to best optimize flow. This is what an assisted transition looks like. For each person, the Arcturian field does not change reality. It changes the circumstances in which reality acts. This makes it clear for every conscious participant what they want to do. Keep creating experiences through reactive identity or start moving through the field with stable coherence. The change won't wait because it's already happening, not because it needs to happen right away. It's not possible for consciousness to stop changing. Systems either change or fall apart. Take a deep breath in. Don't try to fix your body, just notice it. Recognize to yourself gently, I choose alignment over repetition. Don't change anything else. Do not say it again. Do not think about it. Let the signal be picked up by the field on its own. The real world doesn't react to words. Intention doesn't make it work. You can't make it do what you want. Signal stability gets a response. Electrical thought patterns, magnetic emotional charge, nervous system regulation, and behavioral consistency make up the biofield signal that every human being broadcasts. The signal is broken up when these parts don't agree with each other. The field sees broken pieces as noise. Delay is caused by noise. Delay leads to repetition. Stuckness is what repetition feels like. Most people send mixed signals without meaning to. They want to grow, but they're afraid of change. They want freedom, but they hold on to what they know. They think about growth, but act to protect themselves. On top of contradictory input, the field can't keep a timeline that makes sense. This makes it loop, wait, and test. Everything changes when there is coherence. Thought, emotion, the state of the nervous system, and action all start to move in the same general direction, even if they aren't perfectly in sync. It's possible to read the signal. The perception grid becomes stable. Feedback speeds up. The system no longer finds contradictions, so reality stops hesitating. This is why coherence often makes the ego feel bad. Excuses fall away. There is no more ambiguity. More responsibility is felt. Reality responds more accurately and faster once the signal is stable. Chances don't come up out of nowhere. They look more nearby. It doesn't feel hard to make decisions. Resistance stops being so strong and starts to be clear. Feedback gets shorter. Cause and effect get squished. Reality is not a fixed structure, according to the Arcturian field. It is more like a responsive lattice. It's a reflection of consistency, not intensity. Emotional highs don't lead to long-lasting changes. Stability and peace does. The field doesn't have to test or pressure the system when coherence is present. Friction is replaced by access. It seems like life is answering faster for a lot of people, and patterns get shorter. Delays fall apart. As the action gets closer, the consequences come closer too, not as punishments, but as checks and balances. This is also why incoherence is unpleasant once awareness is stable. You can't take back what you've learned. Pretending makes things difficult. Putting things off creates pressure. The system isn't moral, it works well. You don't just pick one timeline at a time. Micro-choices of coherence or reaction keep them stable all the time. At this point, understanding turns into embodiment. If you want to stop your signal from drifting between states and keep it stable, write this exactly as shown in the comments. My signal stays the same. Not as a hope, as an affirmation, no. To make a statement. When you write it, you add coherence to your biofield and let the Arcturian observation lattice know that you are ready. Each action that fits together strengthens the path. Each reactive loop makes it less strong. This makes the change subtle but permanent. Even though nothing major happens, it feels impossible to go back to the old pattern. Take a deep breath in. Let it come out on its own. Without feeling anything, gently tell yourself, "My signal is consistent." Do not picture it. Behavior shows how consistent someone is. Stay there while we go on. Not everyone gets rid of old timelines at the same time. They let go of people first, whose internal frequency has already gone out of their range of function. This isn't being unfair. It has to do with physics. What fits into a structure is the only thing that can stay there. The connection naturally gets weaker when your signal doesn't match the structure of a timeline. If you're listening to this now, it's probably because something you like no longer fits. Not really painful, but just a little off. Some habits don't feel full. Some conversations sound the same. There are some identities that are heavy to carry. You may still be going through the same places, but something inside you has changed. Giving up is not the same as losing. It's moving around. Mission recognition feels like this in the brain and spinal cord. It's not exciting, not being better. An air of seriousness, a gentle weight, a feeling that you need to be more precise about how you live, talk, make decisions, and control your emotions. You're not getting away from the system. Because of a bigger plan that needs stability over noise, you are being moved around. During every planetary transition, some people become coherence nodes. Nodes are not people who teach or lead. A node is someone whose nervous system can keep a higher frequency steady without breaking up. As soon as enough nodes stabilize at the same time, the planetary field can support a higher level of consciousness. There are no louder nodes. They make less noise. They're not exciting. They are always the same. They don't want to be noticed. Even when no one is looking, they control how they feel inside. When you reach a certain level of coherence, the old timeline can't hold you anymore. It starts to fall apart around you without any problems, not because it failed, but because your signal no longer works with it. Like a radio frequency that used to play clearly through your system, think of the old timeline. As your internal tuning changes, the signal gets messed up until the station stops working altogether. In this way, old identities feel tired now. The reason why pretending is hard, why it seems impossible to go back to old patterns that aren't working right. Your biofield's resonance band is better now. Things are no longer compatible. The old timeline lives on because people are still using it. By paying attention, feeling, repeating, and being involved without realizing it. When you don't feed it, it gets weak. When enough nodes turn off their energy, the structure falls apart quietly instead of in a big way. This is why the collapse starts inside you first. Things inside have already moved, even if the outside world looks the same. You are no longer interested in old dramas. Old fears become less scary more quickly. Old triggers go away more quickly. You get back to normal faster after being upset. In a broad sense, this is not spiritual growth. System recalibration of the nervous system. The Arcturian perception grid can tell who mission agents are by the way they respond, not by what they believe, how fast you fix yourself, how little you can handle betraying yourself. Describe how incoherence makes you feel in your body. The pain you're feeling is not anxiety. It's signal integrity making its case. You are one point of stability in a much bigger network. There is no one node that handles the transition by itself. But for the lattice to stay stable, each node has to be in the right place. This is why your part feels small, but important. You aren't here to buy anyone over. Keep the coherence up by being here. You're not here to save the world. You're here to stop the field from becoming unstable so that it doesn't collapse. When people fight old timelines, they don't fall apart. They break down when enough people stop feeding them without realizing it. There's no fight against the old world. You've grown past it. If this sentence went through your nervous system instead of your mind, you should be aware of that. "I accept my position" should be written in the comments. This isn't a sign. It makes your place in the Coherence network more stable and boosts your resonance in the planetary field. Take a deep breath in. Feel where your body is right now. Recognize to yourself once, "I accept where I am in the transition." Do not force anything, just let the signal register. As soon as one person stabilizes coherence, their own reality changes. When several people stabilize coherence at the same time, a bigger change starts to happen. The planetary field starts to build up new paths for structures. This is known as coherence clustering. When several controlled nervous systems work together in the same resonance bands, a coherence cluster forms. Their biofields naturally overlap and entangle with each other, not emotionally, but electromagnetically. This makes stable anchor points in the planetary lattice that keep higher frequency information present without making the environment less stable. This is how transitions work, so they don't end in collapse. Not because many people believe it, not by making movements, not by making noise, by keeping everything in sync. You might already feel this happening in a quiet way, that you're no longer alone, even if nothing changed in your social life. A sense that other people are changing inside in similar ways, letting go of similar patterns, and choosing clarity over drama and integrity over performance. This is not a mistake. Instead of communication, it is field entrainment that makes them work together. All over the world, at the same time, coherence nodes are turning on. People who have never met are aligning with the same values, making their lives simpler, cutting down on internal noise, staying away from pointless conflict, improving nervous system regulation, and putting clarity before stimulation. It's not a trend. It is a network that is quietly taking shape below the surface of society. The old timeline can't hold people's attention for long as coherence clusters get stronger. Fear stories lose their appeal. Chaos spreads less easily. It takes more work to manipulate because clarity automatically breaks down illusion. That's why you may have become more emotionally sensitive. You feel it faster now when you become unstable inside, not as a punishment, but because your signal is no longer being kept separate. You are a part of a bigger network of coherence. Distortion is noticed right away. Because of this, your sense of responsibility has grown lately. Not as a burden, but as an effect. Your regulation now affects more than just your personal life. Every time you calm down instead of reacting, you lower the noise that everyone is making. You make the field stronger every time you choose clarity over drama. There are no leaders needed in the Arcturian harmonic field. It needs holders, people who show up even when there's nothing good about it. People who always choose coherence, even when other people don't. That quiet consistency is what makes it possible for new timelines to take root. The golden age doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It slowly becomes stable as clusters of coherence grow. You are right if this doesn't feel fun or exciting. Seriousness shows that the nervous system is fully developed. This is not a dream. This is structural work that is taking place in everyday life. Take a deep breath in. Feel your spine's straight line. Without making anything up, gently tell yourself, "I hold coherence with others." Let the field naturally add the signal. As coherence becomes more stable, your way of processing information starts to change in a small way. Inside, you become quieter. Not taken back. Connected, but not. Better. Being quiet is not a spiritual practice. I call it signal refinement. Your frequency gets higher when you stop trying to explain yourself. Your nervous system calms down when you stop trying to explain your choices. Your perception grid clears when you stop telling yourself stories about how you're feeling. The power of words comes from them. At the level of the nervous system and biofield, silence lets information fit together. This is why the new timeline works faster when you get rid of noise that isn't needed. Not because silence is passive, but because there is less noise. The signal gets better. A lot of mission agents have noticed that their gut feelings are getting stronger, not gut feelings or intuition. Knowing about structures, you can tell when something is in place before the proof shows up. You can tell when a path isn't going to work anymore before it falls apart. You can instantly tell when an environment or relationship doesn't match your energy. This isn't making things up. With this kind of nervous system coherence, perception can go beyond mental filtering. You start reading matter instead of stories. A room can talk to you without saying anything. In some places, you can feel the weight right away. Some people feel alive and clear. You don't think about it. Your body knows right away when two people are compatible. People are the same way. We no longer need to give you long explanations. You can immediately tell if something is aligned or not. A huge amount of energy is saved in this way. During this stage, dreams often change. They get clearer, more symbolic, and sometimes surprisingly right. Not processing emotions, but taking samples from the past. Because of coherence, information can move up without getting messed up. The subconscious starts to access probability fields directly. Talking too much gets in the way of this process. Words break up the signal. Integration is kept alive by silence. The Arcturian field teaches that higher levels of perception appear naturally when there is less internal conflict, more stable emotional response, clearer identity, and less attention leakage. This is why you might not want to talk to people about unimportant things as much these days. Not as eager to explain your path, not as interested in outside validation. This is not being alone. It's for signal safety. When you sharpen your perception, reality moves faster. Taking action gives you immediate feedback. Hesitation quickly leads to friction. The system gets more accurate. No, this is not a punishment. It is a calculation. In the new timeline, you don't have to tell the truth. Being able to embody it without commenting on it is necessary. Take a deep breath in. Let your body settle down on its own. Once tell yourself, I trust what I feel before what I say. Let the nervous system come together. Just before a timeline becomes fully stable, resistance often goes up. Not since something is wrong, but since something is ending. The old timeline tries one last time to draw attention back when a new coherent state starts to lock in. Not in a big way, in a way. There's no clear reason for the doubt. It takes longer to wait. Small problems seem bigger. Strangely, old habits come back to haunt you. There is no sabotage here. This is called signal interference. The old timeline lives on because people are used to it, and it makes them feel something. When coherence makes those hooks less stable, the system squeezes any unresolved pieces that are still there into a small window of intensity. The word for this is compression. Pressing down is not a punishment, it's resolution. At the same time, old fears, identities, and reflexes come to the surface, asking for one last engagement. Not to trick you, but to make sure that coherence is stable. This is where a lot of people hurt themselves without realizing it. They think too much. They give an explanation. They want to feel better. They go back to old habits. The timeline doesn't get locked. Things happen that can't be undone when you stay still during compression. The interference falls apart. The signal stays stable all the time. That's why the pressure feels inside instead of outside. Things haven't changed. It's in your nervous system. As soon as things are stable, resistance drops sharply. Life doesn't get easier. It just stops being personal when things get rough. Making choices feels better. Energy comes back on its own. Movement lines up without any force. During this phase, the main instruction is simple. Don't react. Interference goes away when you're present. If you're feeling pressure that you haven't felt before, it doesn't mean you should stop. It means that stabilization is getting close enough to be important. Take a deep breath in. Let your shoulders loosen up. Recognize to yourself once, I'm still here during compression. Let the system finish recalibrating itself. When coherence becomes stable and the old interference goes away, your experience of time changes in a deep way. The sense of urgency that once pushed you to make choices is starting to fade. Not because you stopped wanting to do things or stopped being active, but because your nervous system learned how to read time from the field. Before this stage, things often felt rushed. You moved forward because you didn't want to miss any chances. You were pushed to make a choice quickly. You used speed to measure progress. The sense of urgency wasn't intuitive. The nervous system was trying to stay alive by keeping uncertainty in check. Your body starts to sense temporal alignment as coherence grows. You can tell when a moment is free and when it's not. You can tell when something is moving smoothly and when it is sticking together. It doesn't make sense to know this. That's what it is. You can relax or tense your muscles. Your breath gets longer or shorter. Your posture changes in a small way. Before your mind makes up a story, your body reads the perception grid. Kindness is not this. That is temporal intelligence. You start to see windows of alignment. It's easy to do things when a window opens. It's easy to find words. It seems clear what to do. Energy helps things move. Outside those windows, things just stop. You don't force, you pause. No longer does that pause make me feel like I failed. It looks and feels smart. Time doesn't go in a straight line, as the Arcturian field teaches. It can be used. All of it points toward coherence. When your signal is stable, the field shortens delays and makes accuracy bigger. You no longer try to beat the clock. You work with it to coordinate. This is why your life may look slower to other people but feel better to you. Not as much wasted work. Not as much emotional drag. Move with more accuracy. People who need things right away often get this phase wrong. They think speed is the same as power. For progress, they take pressure the wrong way. But the new schedule doesn't show how important it is. It reacts to being lined up. You might notice that disagreements go away before they start. Wrong paths lose their appeal right away. Things that used to interest you no longer do. Your system no longer enters fields that aren't compatible. This is not staying away. It's a strong authority. You are no longer trying to beat the clock. You're moving with it. The field moves with you as you move. Take a deep breath in. Feel your body the way it is. Recognize to yourself once, I move when the time is right. Let the nervous system come together. When the wait is over, there is a quiet moment. Not just because a sign shows up, not because things finally get better, not because certainty shows up. When your body stops holding its breath, the waiting is over. A lot of people believe it's time to wait. It's not. Waiting is a way of expressing who you are. I will fully arrive later is the way you feel inside. It puts off embodiment. It stops the commitment. Half of your mind is in the present, and the other half is in imagined futures. Waiting sends out a frequency of incompleteness. In response, the field tests, loops, and delays. Once coherence is stable, that posture goes away on its own. You don't keep scanning to be sure. You stop getting ready to start. You stop waiting for things to happen. It's not because you gave up, because you got there from the inside. This arrival seems quiet, a soft let go in the chest. The breath is steady and quiet. The feeling that you don't have to worry about the future anymore. When you're not sure of something, your nervous system stops getting tense. You start to fully live in the present moment. How you feel about the future changes. It doesn't feel like a place to go or a way to get help anymore. It's like a current is already going through you. You don't try to force it anymore. You just stop getting in the way. This is why you calm down and make a decision. You may still be unsure, but you're not putting your life on hold while you wait for clarity. When you act, you do so from alignment instead of anticipation. A lot of the time, the ego hides delay as wisdom. To be careful, wait for the right time, and gather information is what it says. But delay keeps your identity safe. In this way, no one is permanently committed. It keeps the old self alive. As soon as the field notices your coherence, delay no longer feels safe. It starts to feel heavy and out of place. You begin to ask different issues, not, is this the way I should go? Does this match my signal? What does the field respond to? Not, what will other people think? Things start to change in reality, not by doing amazing things, but by taking things away. Relationships that drain you lose access. Old fights lose their power. Some patterns just fall apart on their own. You might notice that time feels different. The days are shorter and more clear. More weight is put on decisions. You feel finality inside before it shows up outside. This is how you know the wait is over. You'll no longer live in soon. Soon is the old world's language. I will soon change. I'll make a promise soon. In due time, I will be more consistent. Now is where mission agents live. Not as an idea to get you going, but as a structural necessity. The planetary field reacts to being present, not to intention. Embodiment starts when the waiting is over. Things change the way you move. Using different words, resting in different ways, making a different choice. Stop wasting time and energy on explanations that aren't needed. You need to stop talking about how you changed. You just live it. One day, you quietly understand something very important. You're not getting ready for the next part. It's already being written. This is a domestic arrival. Take a deep breath in. Relax your body. Recognize to yourself once, I live in now. Allow the nervous system to pick up on the change. The Galactic Confederation is not a group that comes to help. Civilizations that were able to keep their own planetary transitions stable through coherence instead of control set up this network. Instead of a hierarchy, it works as an intelligence lattice. In the short time when consciousness changes faster than social structures can adapt, it is its job to help new civilizations. Earth is in that window right now. The Confederation doesn't get involved with civilizations that are sleeping. It gets involved when enough people become functionally aware, which means they can take responsibility, control themselves, and make good decisions without outside help. This is where positioning takes place. You aren't picked in a weird way. You are in a certain place because of resonance. The field naturally reorganizes around you once your coherence is stable. You are in a place where your signal has the most stability and the least amount of distortion. Mission agents don't run groups of people. In other words, they connect higher-order coherence to dense physical systems. An interface sends stability instead of looking for visibility. This is why your life may look normal to other people. You still have to deal with work, relationships, and responsibilities. But on the inside, your nervous system works in a different way. You regulate more quickly. You get better faster. You get a more accurate picture. You use less power. This is not spiritual identity, it's operational readiness. Through response under pressure, the network can tell who the agents are, who stays clear when other people get angry, who makes things easier when others make things harder, who keeps things stable when others break apart. Every action that makes sense lowers planetary noise. The lattice gets stronger with each controlled response. This is how help works when there is no interference. Guidance feels internal because your nervous system and perception grid work together to coordinate things, not outside instructions. You are not in charge. People trust you. The Golden Age does not start with the Confederation. It keeps civilizations from falling apart unnecessarily while they learn how to stay stable. This learning takes place when regular people have extraordinary coherence. You are right if this doesn't feel fun or exciting. If something feels like it's been done before, that's remembrance. Alignment means that it feels like a duty instead of a reward. You weren't meant to leave Earth. You were put in a way that would help keep it stable from the inside. Take a deep breath in, internally confirm once, I accept my place in the network. Let the field join together. At every planetary transition, chaos shows up. No, not as a punishment, as sorting. Unresolved patterns show up when a field raises the frequency. Stability is lost in false structures. Systems based on fear lose their hold. Old identities are hard to break down. This rough weather is not failure. It's called filtration. Chaos shows what is stable and what can be used. It sets coherence apart from fragmentation. People who can stay stable in the midst of chaos become the building blocks of the next phase. Not because they are special, but because they trained their nerves to stay alert even when things got tough. When comfort went away, you built coherence. You stayed aligned even when there was no reward. You made things easier when they got harder. That's the beginning. There is a final compression at the end of every initiation. Old temptations come back. Fears from the past come to the surface. Old identities try to talk things out, not to catch you, but to see how stable you are. When there is coherence, chaos loses its points of attachment. It burns through what wasn't stable and fixes itself on its own. What comes next is not a party. There is no sound. A quiet building up. A new reality baseline that doesn't make itself known. The Golden Age is stable because of calm nerves, not because of big events. If you feel calm instead of happy, that's fine. There's no need for you to wait for the future. The way you're building it is through coherence. Take a deep breath in. Recognize to yourself once, I stay coherent during transition. Allow the system to close. Once the nervous system's coherence is fully stable, there is a quiet realization that comes. It doesn't come as a surprise or excitement. It comes as a calm certainty. This simple knowing settles into the body like gravity does when it finds its center. You know that you never waited for someone or something to pick you, to become someone that reality could trust. You were being shaped by stress, sharpened by contrast, and trained by instability. Picking a choice means you like it. Preference means ego. However, the planetary field doesn't work based on what you want. Resonance and dependability are its main components. During a transition, the most stable signal takes the lead, not the loudest voice or the brightest belief. Your coherence bandwidth got stronger with each challenge you overcame without falling apart. That moment when you controlled yourself instead of reacting, trained your nervous system to handle more intense situations without breaking down. Every time you stayed in the present instead of running away, your perception grid became more stable. What belief could never prove was shown by pressure. When environments became unstable, a lot of people split up. A lot of people acted out when their emotions got stronger. As doubt spread, a lot of people clung to old identities. It's not true. You were stable enough to keep your inner signal steady. In this field, consistency is what is known as trustworthiness. Promises don't hold water in real life. Over time, it trusts that patterns are correct. That's why your job feels bigger now. Not because you are burdened, but because once coherence is proven, responsibility kicks in automatically. You are no longer seen as someone who might become stable one day by the field. It sees you as someone it can work with right now. This is what it really means to be in the middle of a planetary transition. Not high up, not unique. How it works. You're not here to say that the golden age has begun. This is what you're here to do. Be quiet and consistent. Refuse to go backwards. And be a steady example of coherence even when no one is looking. You are already over the chaos phase. It took away the illusion. Instability was shown. It made your nervous system stronger. What's left is dependability. This moment doesn't feel like a celebration because of this. The work won't wake up right now. Stability is what it is. As soon as stabilization is over, your identity changes in a small but significant way. You no longer see yourself mainly as someone who is looking for something, healing someone, learning something, or trying to change. As a coherence anchor, you start to work. Anchors don't stay in one place. It stays stable over time. It keeps the frequency stable enough that other people and places can naturally entrain without any force. Your nervous system turns into a way for higher coherence to enter into the physical world. That is, not by teaching or convincing, but by regulating the body. People may not know why, but being around you may make them feel calmer. When you walk into a room, conversations may settle down on their own. When you're around, conflict may lessen. After you go through an area, it may feel clearer. These effects are not meant to happen. They are entrainment responses based on fields. Your controlled biofield organizes the chaotic signals around you in a subtle way. It's not magical. It's the study of electromagnetic coherence. You become more aware of your own internal integrity as your coherence grows. It's easy to notice small distortions. When you're overstimulated, you feel tired. Too much emotion loses its appeal. Your system naturally puts an emphasis on ease of use, clarity, rest, and clean input. This is not a break from life. It's improving the quality of the signal. Because you know that attention changes reality, you become picky about what you let into your perception grid. Not as an idea, but as a fact of how the body works. The field around you gets stronger as your nervous system gets more stable. That's how the new timeline stays stable, by doing normal things. If someone in your life is already feeling this shift, but doesn't know how to describe it yet, sending them this message will expand the field of coherence beyond your own node. When you share, you're not pushing content. Instead, you're letting nervous systems that are compatible join the same stabilization grid. This strengthens the planetary coherence network through resonance instead of persuasion. It's not your job to tell people what to do. It's to stay consistent enough so that the environment can adjust itself on its own. Because of this, being honest is more important than ever. There should be signal integrity, not moral integrity. To keep coherence, what you think, feel, say, and do must stay in line. This isn't wonderful. It's all about rules. You quickly notice distortion when it shows up. You give gentle feedback. You come back to being there. You give the nervous system a chance to reset. Now you know how to live as a coherence anchor. If you want to stay in this stable frequency instead of going back to the noise at the surface, subscribing is more than just a channel choice. It's an agreement with your own coherence to keep going. By subscribing, you keep your nervous system connected to this field on a regular basis. This keeps your signal calibrated, refined, and supported as the transition goes on. The new timeline doesn't stay stable during exciting times. It maintains signal consistency by making thousands of small, quiet decisions. How you breathe when you're upset. How you talk when you're not sure. How you move when you're worn out. What controls you when you're triggered. How you rest when you're too busy, when you're not sure how to listen. Every small choice either strengthens coherence or breaks things up. Now, your nervous system is sensitive enough to notice these changes right away. Alignment makes you feel at ease, clear, and grounded. Incoherence feels like light friction, weight, or movement. You don't judge these feelings. Instead, you use them as feedback. This changes daily life from a struggle to get better to a process of living calibration. You're not looking for growth anymore. You keep integrity stable. You pay attention to your body when you eat. People listen to your tone when you talk. As you move, pay attention to your force. When you rest, your body can fully heal. This makes the nervous system trust you. Because of ego or need, you learn not to ignore your body's signals. As trust grows, it becomes easy to regulate. The field responds in the right way. Flow gets stronger. There is less friction. Timing gets better. Chances come up naturally. Not because you brought them into the world, but because your signal became clear and stable. This is how embodiment takes the place of intention. Your goal is no longer to become someone. You are staying with the person you already made stable. Over time, as coherence becomes more stable, the quality of synchronicities changes. They become less dramatic and more about building things. Life stops having random events that are hard to explain and starts running smoothly. People show up when they're needed. Resources naturally line up. Problems are easily solved. The timing gets better. It's not magic. That's what resonance optimization is. It becomes possible for your perception grid to work with probability pathways that you didn't think were possible before. Your nervous system can correctly read subtle information, so the field doesn't have to send you loud signals to guide you. You act before a crisis happens. You make changes before problems get worse. You can tell when something isn't right before it happens. This makes you feel like life is supporting you. Not because of outside help, but because internal coherence lets you connect with the field in a smart way. It stops being exciting when things happen at the same time. I think it's useful, calm and dependable. Indicator of timeline stabilization. Your relationships will naturally change as your coherence grows. This is not done by confrontation, but by resonance. Some connections get stronger because they match your signal that has been stabilized. Some fade because they are no longer in train. When there is strong coherence, this happens without any drama. You don't have to fix or persuade anyone anymore. Your nervous system doesn't interact with fields that aren't compatible. You talk to people more easily. You pay more attention. You can handle less distortion. You get over emotional problems faster. This naturally leads to healthier relationships. Some people might be drawn to how steady you are. Some people might feel uneasy around your clarity. Both responses are fine. Instead of controlling relationships, you let them work out on their own. This makes emotional work a lot easier. The most important work you do now won't be seen very often. You can keep environments stable just by being controlled in them. Collective noise is lower when the nervous system is calm. Emotional contagion can be stopped by giving a clear answer. Stabilizing chaotic systems is a grounded presence. You are always stabilizing the planet without needing to be recognized for it. In this way, big changes happen quietly. Every moment that is controlled makes the lattice stronger. Every decision that makes sense lowers instability. This is service by being present. When coherence is stable over time, a quiet kind of joy shows up. It's not exciting. It's not stimulation. A strong sense of what's right. You are in sync with yourself. Your behavior matches how you feel inside. Your nerves are calm because of your life. This makes a gentle happiness that doesn't depend on what's going on. You have less conflict within yourself. Not as much emotional drama. Less trouble with identity. It feels more honest and easy to live. There is a natural reward for coherence in this. As a conscious interface between higher coherence and material reality, you are currently in operation. Your nervous system turns information from the subtle fields into actions you can take. You talk less than you listen. You feel more than you think about things. The way you move is more about timing than force. Your identity changes, but stays the same. You believe in yourself. This is the mind of an adult. Now, take a moment. Feel your body the way it is. Take note of the contact points, the weight, the breath moving on its own. Don't try to feel steady in your chest, abdomen, shoulders, and jaw. Just let it happen. Once tell yourself, I hold what I have become. Now finish the transmission outside the computer. Write these exact words in the comments. I hold what I've turned into. This makes sure that the coherent state is locked into your identity signal and that you are fully integrated into the stabilization field. You are not saying what you plan to do. You are agreeing with embodiment. Do not say it again. Let the nervous system keep track of the state. Hold your breath for a moment. Allow the field to fully fit in. You're not the only one going through this. You are a part of a living network of connected people who are steadily and quietly guiding the next stage of human consciousness. You didn't wait around to be picked. You were getting strong enough to handle the future. You are no longer in the path of the transition. It's taking place through you. Keep your mind clear. Stay on the ground. Stay true. You can already hear the field. As long as this transmission helped you stay stable and clear, stay connected to places that boost coherence instead of noise. Make your nervous system regulation even better. Keep appreciating simplicity. Keep putting honesty ahead of performance. Now the work is quiet, steady, and can't be undone. Let your field finish the circuit if this transmission made something stable in your nervous system. You're amplifying the coherent signal you just embodied when you click the like button, not just supporting the video. That one action sets off a measurable feedback loop inside the quantum lattice. This loop strengthens your alignment and the stabilization field you are now a part of. And that's how real planetary evolution works. Share this message with people who move at the same frequency as you if it feels like something your soul knows instead of something your mind learned. Sharing enables the transmission field to spread through aligned networks. increasing coherence across nervous systems that think like them and speeding up stabilization without any force or work. Hold on just a moment. You made it this far, which means this message was meant for you. This isn't just luck. It's proof that you are ready for a major change. The universe is giving you a clear signal right now. It's time to move from struggling and chasing to easy receiving and flow. This simple idea can completely change your life. Stop forcing outcomes and start tuning in to the natural flow where blessings multiply and show up in every area of your life. By clicking the link below, you are immediately stepping into a positive, high-energy community, a place where you learn the practical steps to stay aligned. You'll get immediate, early access to simple tools and clear teachings that help you see opportunities and resources that are currently hidden from most people. This is your chance to get the direct guidance, unwavering support, and fast progress you need to reach your true potential. Don't let this moment of readiness pass you by. Your breakthrough is just one click away. Join our Ready to Receive community immediately through the exclusive link in the description. This is the simple way to ensure you always get the personalized guidance you need to elevate and empower your life, exactly when you need it. If you want to go deeper and master this shift, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. And if you feel like supporting this mission so we can reach more people who are ready, a link to Buy Me a Coffee is there. Your support is always appreciated, but just showing up and focusing your energy is everything. Click the link. Your perfect timing is now.